I'm Haley Wurst. I'm here at Lewis and Clark National Historical Park. Join me on my 3-day journey as I explore our first BioBlitz. During this student-produced video, we'll watch the BioBlitz unfold as teams of scientists, students, teachers, and families work together to find as many species as possible. This project is a unique opportunity to count and identify some of the smallest creatures in this park. It's going to be fun, plus we might learn a thing or two about this special place known as the Yawn Unit along the Pacific Ocean in Northwest Oregon. To start things off, some lucky students from Napa, Oregon have volunteered to spend the night out here looking for macroinvertebrates, tiny little creatures that have no backbone.
So yeah, and those perlos, they almost like swim upside down, you know, they're just like...
That's Bill Bacchus, a scientist with Olympic National Park. He's in his element out here, on the beach, in the middle of a cold night, counting small creatures that live in the sand. I caught up with him and several other scientists the next morning. He was teaching a whole new group of kids.
Here, what you do is give it a little shake. So you can inundate it just a little more and then try to shake it, see how it shakes.
While many kids have been to the beach, they probably don't think about what's underneath it. These students from Ilwaco Middle School in Washington got the chance to find out. At a temporary research station, students learned to retrieve samples, identify, and count each specimen. After the students were done, I asked Bill a few questions. Can you tell me a little bit more about these invertebrates?
Well, they're very small for the most part, and most of them, they live in a really harsh environment. It's wave swept, it changes a lot. They live within the matrix of sediment, you know, the fine sands at various levels on the beach.
They're called detritivores, which live off organic matter, bits of dead stuff like decaying seaweed or pieces of fish.
Because they're eating all of this dead material that is stuck between the grains and is along the beach, and they're feeding on those, and then in turn a lot of the sand birds like the sandpipers and birds that are moving along the beach, they're running around and they're plucking these little guys out of the sand. So they're an important part of the food chain.
By studying what lives above and beneath the beach over the years, scientists can determine the health of the habitat as well as impacts people have, such as driving cars on the beach or oil spills.
I think it's just important for people to understand all the different components of an ecosystem and understand that there's a lot of other little organisms that rely on the beach and rely on a clean environment. And this is an opportunity to kind of dig under the sand and see these little guys that normally aren't brought to light.
If you want to find a bug, you gotta think like a bug. And of course, everyone says you have to go out and beat the bushes to find something. Well, that's particularly true in entomology, the study of insects. After hitting the bushes with a beating stick, the insects fall into the beating sheet or trap, and then they're taken back to the lab where students get a look at them under a microscope. These students are going through leaf litter to find arachnids, mites, and woodlice. One student shares that before this field trip, she used to be afraid of insects. She thought they were going to attack her. After studying insects at the park, she wants to know more about them.
I think it makes me respect their habitat a little more. Like usually if I'm on the trails in class, then I'll stomp through. But now it makes me want to be more cautious of my surroundings.
It's the final day, and a variety of workshops from a lichen walk to a mushroom talk will be held. People are forming spider, beetle, and sand teams to explore the park. Not all of the BioBlitz is on land. Some of it's in the water. Let's go find out what they're doing. And just like at the beach, this pond is teeming with small gems of life swimming in the cattails. I tried my hand in the water and then found Celeste Mazzacano from the Xerces Society to explain what I was looking at.
And then also all dragonflies have those little stiff points at the tip of their abdomen, and that surrounds their rectal gill chamber. So they suck water into their rectum, they extract oxygen from it, and then if they want to swim around even faster than they can by using their legs, they can squirt water out of their rectum and jet propel themselves. And that is a beautiful story.
As the day winds down, I spent some time chatting with Carla Cole from Lewis and Clark National Historical Park. I find that even park rangers can learn new things.
I have learned a ton over the last couple of days. I mean, I've just been amazed. Before the BioBlitz, I knew there was great diversity of insects and arthropods out here. But actually going with all these different teams, and every time a branch has been beaten or a scoop has been taken out of the water or some litter sifted through, both the abundance and diversity of all the stuff that falls out, and it really, drives it home just how much life is everywhere.
Carla says the specimens will go to Oregon State University, where students will study, ID, and catalog them in the Oregon State Arthropod Collection. The information will help the park establish a baseline of data. Well, after all this work, I think it's time to have a little fun. So I just came back from this awesome workshop about mushrooms, and the ranger there said that there's a type of mushroom called a candy cap that apparently tastes just like maple syrup. So he made these cookies for us to try, and I'm gonna give it a shot. Tastes just like maple syrup, like a shortbread cookie almost.
So what did I learn? Well, I learned that there are thousands of different types of bugs, and they're the basis of every ecosystem. Bugs are our friends, and in this last 3 days, we've really gotten a chance to know them better. Thanks for coming.
They're small, but they're mighty.